everything is going extremely well.
And now, showtime.
Down, hey everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be. Welcome to the studio. Today we are diving into a hard truth that everybody needs to really understand. You are looking at your Metametrics completely wrong. The unfortunate truth is most of you have been taught by people that don't know what they're doing to look at basically all the wrong stuff. And so we're going to unpack that today with a special guest and a little pre-recorded session, which we don't always do on this show, but we're going to do it today because it's hyper valuable. And I also want to feature my man, Nate, who just left his job. He has declined his 50-year option at Original Grain. And we had a great chat of basically how he was able to increase his customer acquisition cost every single year. And as a result, they had 100% growth every single year by doing a simple thing that I'm going to show you today that I told him. And well, the fact of the matter is everything you've been looking at is completely wrong. And we're going to change all of that today, plus get to all of your questions. So let's get started directly with that. By the way, if you're watching the show, let me know where you're from. Hi, Siraj. I hope I got that right. I might have completely screwed it up. Who knows? Anyway, it's great to see you all here. We're going to just do live comments on the show today. So all comments are going to be on the stage. Anybody commenting anything, it's going to pop up live on the thing. I'm not gatekeeping. I'm not editing. I'm not doing anything else. By the way, we have the new setup right now. We're in B2 of the studio here. And if I have a giant box of stuff that I'm going to keep setting up. But I hope you guys like this. I finally have the ability to sit at my desk and just stare at the camera instead of everything else. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move. We are going to go ahead and let's see. We're going to turn on the prompter. Sweet. So I'm turning on my other camera. Hello. Nice to see you. Why am I not seeing the comments on the stage? Show the comments on the stage. Okay, great. We can get rid of the calendar on this screen. Check this out. Now, you guys can't see any of this stuff, but I'm super stoked about it. I now have this. I'm staring at a teleprompter on my mounted to my camera. It's called an Elgato teleprompter. Shout out. The tech is shit, but the design is amazing. So anyway, that all being said, what I want to do to get started today, we're going to take a look at a lot of your metrics. To be completely fair, I just want to set the table here, and we'll get to it in a little bit. Because I want to just queue up this interview that I've done because I want to not waste any value. But we will get to all of your questions that you've dropped in the YouTube on both the Disruptor and the CT, the Disruptor YouTube channel, and the Disruptor Academy YouTube channel. Like always, we're going to go through all of your comments and questions from the last weeks. If you have any, drop them on any videos. We're going to get to you live here. And yes, if I get to your question, I'm going to comment back to your question. Hey, we answered it in this live video, and I'm going to have timestamps in this video. So if you're watching on replay, there you go. Look in the description. Your question was answered. There's how you find it. And what I'm going to preface is this. If you've been taught that the key to success is a low CPA and a high ROAS, you have been taught to essentially destroy any chance for you to be nearly as successful as possible. Those metrics don't mean anything. They are vanity metrics that lack context. And so this is going to basically completely debunk anyone on ROAS targets, anyone running cost caps, bid caps, anyone running a ton of different offers to get the lowest CPA. People focused on all of these trash metrics. And yes, you've heard me say it for years that these are trash metrics. Finally, the world is coming around to it a little bit, which is great. But instead of taking my word for it, how about the CMO of an 8-figure brand that's had 200% growth every single year because he's raised CAC? Let's start to focus on the things that actually make money. With that being said, I'm going to shut up. Let's bring on my man Nate from Original Grain. He didn't have a beard for this episode, and I glitched out a little bit in the first minute or so on my internet feed. So forgive that. Also, one other thing, I have not upgraded the backdrop here, so it will still say you can join Disruptor Academy for free. That is not the case. It's $147 a month, but the QR code still works. So anyway, there we go. We got the comments on the thing. By the way, let me know if you're watching this, where you're watching from. With that being said, let's get to Nate. All right, first guest we've had on this show. Let's have some fun. Boy and I and Matt met randomly at the airport trying to get out of San Jose.
Nice.
And I think it was Matt. It might have been McCoy, but we're just talking about what a come up you have had over the last 2 years.
Oh, damn. Thank you, guys.
For what it's worth, completely unsolicited, thousands of miles away from you, there was some appreciation and acknowledgement of just some of the work that you've been doing, man. So I know you're getting a check from somebody, but there's also people out there that are noticing what's going on, that have seen things happen, and great work, dude.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks to Matt and or McCoy. Those dudes are fucking awesome. Absolute killers and good people too. And yeah, dude, the last few years have been wild. When did we meet? 2022?
I think that's about right. Yeah.
I think it's 2022,
right?
In Austin. I think I I just completed my first year at this job and was starting to unlock some good growth at OG. But yeah, the last few years have been a wild ride. 100% growth, a few years in a row now. I bought a farm. That's been a lot of fun and a lot of work. Baby on the way. So yeah, man, life's gotten crazy and fun. But it's all good. And part of that is thanks to you and guys like Matt and McCoy, who I've learned a ton from. So super excited to have you on the pod. How's that for an intro?
Oh man, I love it. There we go. Everybody's completed. Okay, who's eating the cookie?
There we go. All right. Today's episode of Tactical and Practical is brought to you by IntelliGems, our one-stop shop for profit optimization. Today we're going to be talking about a bunch of ad tactics, but if you've listened to any other episodes recently, you know how much time we spend testing elements of our website, content, copy, headlines, prices, offers. All that stuff can massively improve the performance of your business. So go to intelligems.io, let them know I sent you, and you can start adding money to your top and bottom line today. All right, Charlie, I'm pumped to have you on, man, because we've been friends for a couple years now, and probably once every 3 months, you send me a text at midnight. that is 8 paragraphs long.
Yeah, it's a block. Yeah.
of the new shit you're doing in your Facebook ad account. And I want to talk about the most recent one. I think it came in February. I had just left the Opry in Nashville. We were working with some country artists there, went to a show. I was boozed up on the whiskey a little bit, got back to the Airbnb at 1 a.m. and I'm with the whole Original Grain crew. And I get this text and I'm like, oh guys, I think we're measuring our ad performance the completely wrong way. Talk me through measuring AOV minus CAC at the ad level, how you started it and why you do it.
Yeah, so this is applying financial principles to media buying. I like to take a step back and say, if you want to be a performance marketer, that's great. I like to think of myself as a brand growth person. I'm at the point where I marketers a pejorative. It's like when I'm a kid, people say this about it. And so, with that in mind, one of the big things that you'll find most econometricians look at is gross profit. And if you can understand If you can understand gross profit per transaction, you can understand ultimately the contribution from every effort in the business. And so what I've done is I've made this custom metric called GPT, which is average order value minus CPA. And that allows me to know what is the volume of revenue that I make off of every transaction. And I think every 8-figure business I've ever been a part of and every brand that I've helped get to 9 figures is looking at advertising as the acquisition of profitable customer journeys. So there's a value to the volume of transactions and opportunities that you get. And if it costs you $100 to sell something for 200, that gives you a ROAS of 2. If it costs you $50 to make a sale for 100, that's a ROAS of 2. But one of those gets you more volume of revenue per sale. The other one gets you more volume of opportunities to get future cash flow. And it puts into context the value of each effort. And so that opens up very easy opportunities for optimization, simplification, and you begin to really understand what is the impact of this line item on my bottom line. Does that make sense? I'm not getting too in the weeds there.
Dude, 100%. And I can't believe you just whipped up that example because it's the exact example I pulled to show everyone. As soon as you sent me this, I made this custom metric in our ad account and I started running the numbers. And it's damn, whether you have a CAC of 50, a ROAS of 2, and an AOV of 100, assuming your COGS percentage stay the same, you're going to net $20 in order. You can have the same ROAS and a CAC twice as high and net double the money, net $40 on that order. And to maintain your AOV and net that same 40 on the first order, you'd have to have a CAC of 30 and a ROAS of above 3.
Which is probably not going to happen.
Not at scale. You can do that and make, some amount of money. But when I look at a chart like this, I look at that bottom row as like, that's the easiest business to scale. Because if I can, I think all of ecom is coming down to a game of like who can afford the highest priced customers and who can afford the most of them. So when I think about how to grow our brand, yeah, in theory, a lot of our marketing tactics should help CAC go down, but we're trying to build a brand that can afford the highest CAC possible because that's going to make us the healthiest long term. And increasing AOV has been the way that we can do that. And I love one of the follow-ups you had. It talked about some ads are better at getting people to take upsell offers. And some ads are better at getting people to buy bundles instead of a single SKU. And looking at it through this lens has made like our creative strategy more dialed in and more focused on like, hey, we don't just want customers. We want the highest value customers possible.
Yeah. And it's like, so with that in mind, a bit of homework I think anybody can take is go into your ad account, add AOV as a column, and it's in there now as a standard metric. I think it's average value of orders or something like that.
It's like average purchase conversion value or something. Yeah,
it's dumb. Just type in average, it's there, or just do it manually. But you'll see the AOV is different on every ad. And as you get dozens or hundreds of sales, they're going to stick around. Like your AOV might be 75. You might have some ads that have an AOV of 119 and others that have an AOV of like 50. I'm working with a brand in like the wallet and men's space. And we were pushing out ads for actually this exact phone case right here. And the phone case is, for the purposes of today, let's say it's 40 bucks. The AOV of those ads was like 90 something.
Mm-hmm.
And when we put in custom metrics, when we put in custom conversion events to track by like product category, what was being sold, 80% of the sales from the ad of the phone case were going to the hero product, and half of those people are taking the upsell. And it's just so important to know that like ads don't make sales; they attract attention. Your website, your business model, how you've optimized your CRO, that's what's really working on what people are going to buy and what people are going to do, right? Like disproportionately, while Nike pushes out the Jordans, it is not reflective of the same percentage of revenue, right? Mm-hmm. Like the Big Mac might be the most, back in the day, the most highly promoted item at McDonald's, but is not the majority of the revenue that they get. So the point of that being, if you can understand what type of ads attract the attention of the people who are most likely to spend more money, you're going to start making more profit by being able to spend more money instead of trying to get the lowest CPA possible. And if the weapon of choice is to reduce the CPA, that is not a good end game for the business. Jeff Bezos already won.
Correct.
And a fun fact, there is a direct relationship between AOV and like repeat purchase in LTV. Like people that spend less money are far less brand loyal. So for instance, at Under Outfit, what we did to go from 50K a month to like $1 million a week in like a year and a half is we found the average woman buys 2.5 bras over their lifetime. Let's just give them an offer for buy 3, get 1 free.
Yep.
That AOV went up. The AOV of the first order was 15% greater than the LTV of the average customer.
Yep.
And they were 3 times more likely to buy a second time. So weaponizing that at the ad level allows you to start focusing on volume of money instead of margins, because at the end of the day, margins don't pay bills.
Facts. I say it all the time on this pod. You can't pay salaries with percentages, can't pay mortgage with percentages, and I certainly can't buy whiskey with my ROAS. You have to buy all those things with dollars. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's gotten lost a bit. But yeah, I'm totally with you. If you're selling on Shopify, that means you are not selling primarily on Amazon or Walmart. So why are we racing to the bottom on CAC? Why are we racing to the bottom on price? You'll build a much healthier business in the long term, focusing on, like, for us, like, we're now able to be like, hey, I can afford our CAC being high if our AOV grows higher. So we're building better products. We're building better bundles together. And I love what you touched on with the Under Outfit example, because our best like AOV play has been seeing what works well in like a 90-day LTV, what customers were already buying when they come back. Just bundle it all together, make a great offer on it. Our acquisition has become a lot more profitable. And then those people are buying more in the next 90 days than they would have because they already got the bundle.
Yeah. And for those listening, like the easiest way to operationalize this, go into your receipts, download the transactions from your Shopify. You need name, date, whether somebody was new or returning, and what they bought. And you're simply just saying, what are the most common customer journeys? Like you can throw that into ChatGPT and say, everybody who's a repeat customer, what was the most commonly bought first product? What is the most common pairing between first, second, and third purchase? Understanding what that is, and then just putting that together. Like for Under Outfit, and I've done this for 310 Nutrition, I've done this for CBD companies. I mean, honestly, I think I've been a part of half a dozen 8-figure exits in the last 4 years. I think I've used this trick on every single one of them. because it works. But I'll put it this way: it cost us 30% more to go from selling 1 bra to 3. That's just money. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so easy. And so what I really want to focus on there is also understand that building a business, there's a very big difference between being a salesperson and operating a business.
Mm-hmm.
Business is about the acquisition of cash flow. No, there's not a single 8-figure business I know that sells an item to somebody once.
Yep.
Like, that's just impossible to make work. On top of that, we can understand that why do people buy from D2C? It's not because of price.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody buys D2C because it's a cheaper product. Back in the day when it was like mail order catalogs, we're going to pass the savings on to you. Sure.
Right. Yeah,
we
killed that a long time ago.
Yeah. The reason people buy D2C is because there's more value, it's a better fit. It meets my needs as a consumer better than what I'm going to get at Walmart or at Costco or at Target. So because you are offering a specialist solution, you can charge more than the generalist will. And I remember back when I was running New Balance, like I was there when they were trying to get young, right? But I wasn't running the business. I wasn't like CEO of New Balance. I ran their page. People make claims. I don't want to say I was called CEO of New Balance. When New Balance went from mall walkers to like cool for people in their like late 20s, early 30s, within a year, you had Allbirds and Hoka and all of these other brands that basically took that exact model but provide a premium solution. New Balance was the generalist that was available at retail that proved a market opportunity outside of Reebok and Converse and Nike and all of that. And then immediately, grandma's mall walker shoe had a cool version that you could charge $200 for. And like, that's why people buy D2C. So my point for saying that is building bundles that solve problems and create value for the customer is how you create a business. If you're trying to make the sale for the lowest price, you're going to live and die by your ability to arbitrage hand-to-hand combat. And I can tell you right now, middle of March, things are going to get really hard. This summer, things are going to get really hard. And you're going to feel phenomenal come Q4 because you made a lot of money, but it's going to be a fraction of what you could have seen. Like you talked about, OGs growing by 100% a year. The folks that play hand-to-hand combat are going to pat themselves on the back because they get 20%, 30% growth.
Yep.
And so it's a definition of success. People are so happy with so much less than they could achieve because they're overcoming times of struggle that they didn't need to have.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where the framework comes in.
100%. And let me add some context for that. I've said it before, but I don't want it to be lost on people. We're growing 100% a year. Our CAC has gone up every single year since I've been here. But top and bottom line are getting much better and better and better. It is not a game of the lowest cost to acquire a customer wins. And for us, like it kind of opened our eyes because what we thought were our best selling products were not our most profitable products. They were just the ones we were advertising the most often. They were just the ones that we were focused on. And now we view what makes a good product is a product that produces the most 12-month profit in a customer journey possible.
Love it.
CAC can be higher, but as long as they keep coming back and buying and the dollar volume is higher, then we are way happier with that than I could only advertise our cheapest watches and our CAC would go way down, but we'd make less money. That's not what we're trying to do here.
You're focusing on the dollars and that just makes sense.
Oh, nice. That's a bar. That's probably the title of this episode.
Right? Like, but yeah, you can see like the light bulb go off. Like I'm about to do this thing. Okay. So operationally, having that column of GPT in your dashboard.
What's that stand for, by the way?
Gross profit per transaction. That's AOV minus CPA. It's the volume of revenue that you make. If you want to add in COGS, go for it. I have an audience of a lot of people in a lot of spaces, so I try to make a generalist solution. I don't hate the idea of adding COGS. Sometimes that can get difficult because you don't know what products people are buying. But if your pricing structure is COGS are 30%, okay, you can just bake that in, right? Yep. Whatever it is, it's a good directional piece of information. Now, I'm working with brands right now where like they come from a cost control environment that's very complicated and it's not working anymore because it's not Q1 or Q4, so that arbitrage strategy just doesn't work. And one brand in particular that I'm working with has like 12 to 14, came away with 12 to 14 campaigns and a couple dozen or 100 ads per product. And they're like, everything makes a profit. We've never made less money. And so what we've done over the last month and a half, first off, just putting the numbers out there, we've taken the business from 2,500 a day to over 10,000 a day in spend. And their actual volume of profit is up a little over 300%. I was just on a call with them this morning. They're like 307 in May versus February. And yes, their CPAs, their CAC is up 50%. But here's the operationalization of this data. We went through at the campaign level and just said, where is your CPA below average and your GPT above average? Right? If you just make a grid
right? Like, so let's just say my screen here is a grid like this and like this, right? So everything in the lower left, CPA is above average. It costs more money than average to make a sale. And the GPT is below average, meaning it costs more money to acquire less profit than average on this ad or this ad.
Not where you want to be.
Conversely, so that's a double negative. Conversely, I have double positives. All we're doing is shifting money from campaigns that are double negative to double positive and turning off ads that are double negative to spend more where they're double positive. The result of that is that business in about like 100 days or so has gone from 12 campaigns to 3, over like 4 pages of ads to like 20.
Mm-hmm.
And the person operating the ad account hasn't launched a new ad in like over 30 days and is working like 2 hours a week on the ad account. Is because they have other stuff to do, right?
Yeah.
They're working on the CRO stuff. They're doing landing page testing with intelligence. They're working on offer construction. They're working on all the other things. And the biggest piece that they're getting from that singularity is a much higher second purchase rate.
Yep.
Because instead of having 1,000 different people and trying to figure out how to get all of them to buy a second time, they have like 4 kinds of customers. And they're getting 1,000 of each. And it's exponentially easier to get the vast majority of those people to move down the customer journey to second and third purchases. I mean, it's a short period of time. So like, we'll see what it looks like in 90 days, 180 days from now. But the search campaigns are seeing higher volume and are way more effective because everybody's looking for the same keywords.
Mm-hmm.
The open rates on the email and the revenue from emails are exponentially higher because everybody's motivated by the same thing, right? So like all the consumers say, all the Sarah Levinger stuff matches. So all the emails work better.
Mm-hmm.
And the take rates on the upsells are through the roof because you have a singularity in the customer journey.
This is something that I think doesn't get talked about enough. The opportunity cost of like only trying to lower CAC or running a massively complicated Facebook account structure. You miss out on all this other work that is crazy impactful. And like, it's the same thing that we've done at OG, where we don't spend a ton of time in the ad account. We spend all of our time testing things on our website to increase AOV and LTV. And if I can probably sum up this episode in a sentence, it's like increasing AOV and LTV is easier and more impactful to the business than decreasing CAC. Yeah. You should be spending all of your time doing that. It pays off month after month after month, and you're not going to wind up chasing your tail wondering why CAC is staying flat, even though you're trying all these kind of like hacky reduce your CAC things.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you have a business, right? And every business itself is the acquisition of attention that you monetize and turn into future cash flow. And then you can invest some of that future cash flow in the acquisition of more attention. It's a flywheel. Anything that gets in the way of that flywheel being simple, measurable, and improvable is a liability to growth. And I think you said it multiple times here. It is not about, can I get the lowest CPA so that I can acquire the worst quality customer who's less and less likely to ever spend money with me again.
Mm.
That's Amazon.
Yep.
And hey, look, there are people that are amazing at it. And I'm not here to throw shade at folks that are like $1 million sellers on Amazon. That's a great game.
Yep.
That's not brand. The way that you make a business work is making that flywheel happen and getting everything out of the way of making it more effective. And you know, I hear everybody says a lot of times they love the quote of like, whoever can spend the most to acquire the customer wins the game. But I see so many people using that as justification for trying all of the things to sell anything at a profit. And
yeah,
unfortunately, that's just not the way things work, you know? And so my hope is that if you just look at your business in this way, what is instead of trying to be a marketer selling a product, you're an investment banker trying to buy money.
Mm-hmm.
The way you make money is you buy money for less than it's worth. Like your AOV, at the end of the day, blended CPA, the amount of money you put out into the world, divided by the total number of transactions, that dollar amount should be less than the value of the average order. That's profit. Multiply that by the volume of transactions, and that's how much money you make. Now, you can either increase that gap between CPA and AOV, or you can increase the volume of transactions. Increasing that gap is very sticky. Increasing the volume of transactions, your CPA could go from 20 to 35 to 17 to 40. Like that happens. That's variable all day long. But the simple analogy that I've been telling people more and more, and I hope you'll appreciate this, is like if I have a steakhouse and you come in and you get the
I'm tracking so far. Like I'm with you. Great hook to get involved in this.
Yeah. If you come to my steakhouse and you get like a wedge salad and fish and chips and it sucks, you'll never come back.
Hate it.
If you come to my steakhouse and you get a filet mignon that's great, you're gonna bring back your friends.
Mm-hmm.
I could argue that everybody who buys a filet mignon comes back 3 times. Everybody gets the wedge and the fish and chips never comes again.
Yep.
My question is, even if the fish and chips and wedge is half the price to sell to somebody, every time I sell it, I lose hundreds or thousands of dollars.
Yep.
If you look at your business as what is the most effective way of acquiring the attention of somebody who will never buy from me again, you're going to struggle. Just sell the filet mignon and you're going to make a lot more money.
Facts. Love that. Sell steak. That's the
Yeah.
theme of this episode.
That's the thing.
Yeah, screw
Sell the
salad.
steak.
Take
I
it
don't
off your
even care about
website.
the
Sell the
visual.
steak.
Sell the steak.
Sell, well, and it's important. Sell the steak, but then also sell the truffle butter add-on.
Mhm.
Sell the shrimp on top of it. Sell the
Yeah.
dessert, and then those next 4 meals for birthdays and anniversaries. That's what's going to print you the money.
Yeah,
back
give me
in
the 50% off my birthday. Sell me the thing where it's like the tomahawk that's got like 3 different steaks on it.
Yep.
And like I'm gonna show up with 3 of my buddies. We're gonna drop $500 because I have a really good 60,
Yep.
you know, whatever it is. Like that's how you make money.
Let's go.
Otherwise, it's scale, and you don't have. I think very few people listening to this have the money to compete with billion-dollar businesses that don't care about their customer. And that's at the end of the day. If you're a D2C business, you win because you can care about your customer in a way that a retail brand can't.
Yep.
And because you care about them, you can charge more than they will because you can never beat them on price. And if you've chosen your fighter and you've gone into battle, you know, don't be an archer and then try to like, you know, go hand-to-hand combat. That's just not going to work. And I think, yeah, that's kind of the way I have to do it. So anyway, AOV minus CPA, that's your GPT. And then just simply say, spend more money where your cost to acquire revenue is below average and the value of that transaction is above average until you've netted that out, and then just focus on more revenue per sale. And you will go from a very complicated ad account to very simple decisions. So you can spend the rest of your time making more and more money.
Boom. Dude, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for these quarterly texts that have made me a bunch of money.
I'm brewing up a new one, by the way.
Oh, can't wait for it.
I've now added, it is you, McCoy, Ben, and Brian Kano is after San Jose is now on the list. So there's like four or five of you guys that are getting the random midnight texts of like, here's everything.
I love it, dude. Keep them coming. If people want to get on that, they just need to follow you, buy you a steak one day.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Or barbecue sauce. Say, look, if you ever find me in Austin, let's just go get some pulled pork and some cornbread, and we'll be friends.
Awesome. Where can people find you, follow you, learn from you? I think your YouTube game's killing it right now, yeah?
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, CT the Disruptor or Disruptor School, Disruptor Academy, Disruptor. If you type in Disruptor and Facebook or Meta, I should probably pop up. But yeah, follow me on Twitter. Check out the YouTube. I got a couple channels. My Disruptor Academy YouTube channel. I highly recommend it, folks. I'm just dropping 1 to 2 hour long courses. Everything that I used to charge thousands of dollars for, I'm just giving away for free. Because people should be successful. Like my bread's butter. I just want to help other people get to the place where they can take this advice and really weaponize it to have the joy that you're having, man. Like buy the farm, get the, all this, like legitimately do that.
Yeah.
Why not?
Life has gotten better. The simpler our business has gotten and the more focused we've gotten on profit dollars rather than MER or CAC or all these ratios and percentages that you can't buy stuff with. So
yeah, just
love it, dude.
What was the bar? Just focus on the dollars because that makes sense.
There you go. That's definitely the title of this episode. Thank you so much for coming on, man. Thanks for listening to Tactical and Practical, and we will see you next time. Everybody.
Bam! There we go. All right, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Those are my words. Those are the words of my man, Nate from Original Grain, just sharing the love and just really kind of laying it out. So if we're going to kind of recap some of this stuff here, okay, let's make sure we're on the same page first. All right, let's get on the same page first. Trying to lower your CAC is a great way to waste a lot of time. Second, ROAS isn't a real metric because it doesn't actually show you volume of profit. You can't buy whiskey with your ROAS. And if you're trying to play the game of get to the lowest CPA, you have already lost to Jeff Bezos. So those are some of the bars there. I'm going to pull up YouTube. Let's get to your comments and questions throughout the week. By the way, if you enjoy what we're doing here, the number one thing you could do to be helpful, if you're not yet in the Meta MBA program or Disruptor Academy, go ahead and share this video or any video from the channel. If you find value in the video, I love the comments. I love the likes. Please subscribe. That's great. But the number one thing you can do to show the machine that you value what I'm doing, that will help us help others to achieve independence, get confidence in what they're doing, and go from worrying about how many people they have to fire to worrying about how they're going to get more inventory. You can share the videos. Sharing the video is the number one thing that just means apparently that is the needle mover of needle movers. All right. That being said, let's get to it. I'm going to pull up the studio here. We're going to hop on over to the CT, the Disruptor Professor Charlie T channel right now. And we are going to go ahead and just pull up, boom, the community wall. There we go. Fantastic. By the way, I've changed the call to action. It is no longer to the academy. We're just smashing the MBA program. There's the QR code right there. If you want to know the exact systems I use to scale brands to $1 million a week, this is it. That is what you should be looking at. All right. So let's get to it. The comments, questions, all sorts of your feedback for the week. Okay. Now, earlier this week, I dropped a video on Alex Hormozi's $100 million leads. The whole point of the video was 2 years ago, Alex Hormozi did a big launch for the $100 million leads book. Now, that book was a big hit, and it was a wonderful event. But quietly after that book launch, that event, he fired his media buyer, and he tried to hire one of my MBA grads. He tried to hire more than one, but they didn't want to move to Las Vegas. So the point is, Alex is great at a lot of stuff, but something he's never really been good at, or more importantly, something his media buyers have never been really good at, is the ad strategy. I dropped the video that I played this week earlier, 3 days before the leads event, on how I set up the ads for the event. And well, we all know how well the next event he did performed. He made $100 million in a day. So if you want to know the exact strategy on how to set up to get engaged leads and run lead gen in a much better way, because it's incredibly simple, it's really easy, and almost everybody's doing it completely fucking wrong, that's what this video is all about. Now, that being said, we have some questions on it. Facebook removed dynamic ads. How do we replace it in the 322 system? We use flexible ads. Everything else, the exact same. So there you go. Work on yourself according to this method. Can it work for the affiliate marketing product? Absolutely. We've had multiple affiliate marketers on this channel where we've done hour-long conversations where they tried to convince me that having a dumber machine with 1,000 moving parts that makes data more difficult to chase to the bottom line was the way to see success. And not a single one of them was actually able to make that a coherent argument. And by the end of all of those conversations, we more or less got to the way of like, yeah, let's just do the 322 method. Well, one of them got on board. The other one is fully leaned into cost caps and bid caps, and I think is now trying to sell crypto. Because like when you're bad at one thing and all you have going for you is scamming people, might as well move on to the next script. All right. Keenan, Charlie's an amazing teacher and the only man who can save the New York Knicks. Thanks, Keenan. By the way, I am co-hosting. Let's get over to this here. Let's view this post. This will come up. Share this tab instead. I am co-hosting I'm just going to drop this over here so I can just stare at you lovely people. I am co-hosting an event with school in New York City on the 20th, VIP event on the 21st. If you want to jump into that, just go to school.com/NYC and jump on in. I would love for you all to be able to see it and be a part of that event. Why, man, this damn Elgato, while I love it, it also is giving me hellacious issues on my camera. So as long as you guys can hear me, we're just going to keep moving on because this is annoying. All right, we're on the B-roll. We're on the B-roll cam just to make sure that we're still live. Okay, so anyway, let's get back to it. I'd love to see you all in New York. Please join in. And it's really been great to work with the school folks, right? So not only am I dropping a video on Hormozi lead gen, we're also, I'm co-hosting a school event. So just, some legitimacy there if you need it. All right, anyway, let's get back to the tabs. Let's get back to the questions. All right, Alex Hormozi said in his videos they created 4,000 creatives for the $100 million money models launch. I know the 322 structure works because it worked for me, but how does your theory, simple scales, complex fails work in this context? Well, it's simple. Not every ad is for a conversion event. Also, when you're trying to promote something, we have to remember that an easy way of counting the math, one video is one. But if it goes on Instagram, and then it goes on LinkedIn, and then it goes on Twitter, and then it goes on Facebook, let's say it goes on Reddit or YouTube, that's like 5, okay? So then that 4,000 is actually only 800. Then you run 322 ads, and if you're running that, then we divide that number by 3 because we have a 322 ad. So now that 800 becomes a little over 250. If you have 9 by 16 and 1 by 1 to potentially cover both sides, now you're looking at like a little over 100. And to be fair, if the guy's trying to make $100 million and he wants to run 100 different versions of a 322 ad to get there, who am I to fault him? I mean, clearly he's got the money to do it and he wants to see what works. And when you're running something that is on a short time frame, sometimes trying to maximize the efficacy of the money that you spent because you don't have the time to get to full machine learning is the right way to go. So I don't think he did it the wrong way. I mean, clearly it worked. It's also fully in line with what we talk about. So in that way, I see no issue with what's been done. And I see no issue in the way that he executed things. I think it all makes sense. Totally on board with it. So there we go. Nice. Well, thank you. Why GPT-4? Have you gotten inferior results from 5? No, Casey, this was a replay from 2023. I tried to preface that in the beginning of the video. But maybe it didn't get across. So holding myself accountable here. Donnie, most impressive thing for this video for me is how incredibly boring it was. Thanks, Donnie. Why was it so? Because the SOPs that powered this epic launch were so ingrained into my daily practice that it's like brushing my teeth. My mom is now texting me. In 25 minutes. Okay, awesome. Yeah, if you really want to master meta ads, I cannot more highly recommend learning from Charlie for anyone who's still on the fence and is still just in YouTube binge mode. Hey, look, for those of you that are in YouTube binge mode, I'm really happy to have you here. I love that you're here, and that's what this is really all about. But, yeah, I mean, if you're ready, willing, and able to move to the next step, I would absolutely love to have you. That's what the MBA program is all about. So anyway, let's keep it going. Oh, we got the main camera back. We're on camera A over. Nope, we're off camera A. Oh, no, we're back. Okay, I'm going to just drop this over here. Hopefully that doesn't break anymore. All right, great. Fantastic. So let's keep going. Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate it. Hey, Charlie, really nice video. I wonder if you could help with engaging editing and thumbnails. Hey, Divi, I'm okay right now, man, but I do appreciate it. Sincerely wish you success in life. Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. ABO versus CBO. We did a great video here, inspired by my friends over at I was having some chats in the DM with Ash from Obvi, and he was like, "Hey man, do you have a video on ABO versus CBO?" Because he really, we've texted a lot over the years, and I've helped him out in many different ways, and he's been a great guy to me every time I've hung out with him. And wanted to get him some good answers. Man, there we go. I'm just going to get back to B-Cam because A-Cam is just being wonky today. I don't know what is going on. This Elgato prompter. If anybody knows how to debug an Elgato prompter, please let me know because this thing it's excellent, but man, it's finicky as hell. Anyway. So with that, what's your opinion on taking winners from a CBO campaign and plugging them directly into a CBO with only winners? I like that, but I don't see why. First off, I don't know why you would move something that's working. If we have time today, I'm going to actually dive into a chat in the limited supply Slack group where somebody dropped a whole bunch of information and we're going to debug basically all of the bad advice and help you out get to a better place if we can get there. So 1, why do you have 2 campaigns? 2, why are you moving something that's working? I don't hate the idea of isolating winners. I just don't know why you would have 2 Why would you be more complicated than need be just to ultimately destroy the success that you've gained? That makes no sense. But I also understand a lot of people teach it because, well, they don't understand how the work is done. I'm here to help you avoid needing to listen to all of that nonsense. All right, Edith, guys, let me tell you a story. I'm in my 4th year an HR major. I've been listening to Charlie so often. I even noticed my articulation on the exam paper is refined and complex. Okay. I'm so knowledgeable with writing marketing jargons that Charlie uses. At some point, I feel like I'm bragging. I'm so happy. There's no way I can teach Charlie's. There's no way you'll watch Charlie's content and not get refined. You will. Worst case scenario, grammar will improve. Consistency is key. Charlie, Edith, thank you so much. That's amazing. Thank you so much. And this is on our live. Oh, Scale Your Fucking Brand. That's a great live video. I highly recommend you check this. You check out this live video. Getting back to Learn Crux. Hi, Charlie. I understand it's one concept for DCT, but within that DCT, can I use variants for different audiences? You sure? Go for it. I don't know why you would. I would want to understand, more importantly, what is the best version of this ad. That's why we do DCTs, but I'm not going to tell you to or to not do it. I just think that you're thinking about it maybe in the wrong way. Mario, just wanted to say thank you for everything that you share. You're the best. Oh, well, thank you, Mario. I appreciate that. We'll be screen sharing the note that shows you how to build from scratch. That's on the DPA course, and the answer is yes. We did it on that course. If you haven't seen that course video, it is on the Disruptor Academy YouTube channel. So let's hop on over to the Disruptor Academy YouTube channel, the community over here. Let's get to your questions as well. So David says, so much information and education. I'm so glad you saw it. This is the new media buying course, the new way to scale ads in 2025. Facebook brought me to their event in San Jose, their performance marketing summit, and asked me to make a video on everything. And so I made a nearly 2-hour video on everything you need to know, everything that everybody's going to be talking about over the next year or so to try to act clever. I gave it to you straight dope. If you want to know what everyone's going to talk about in a year or two, but you want to know how to do it correct today, that's what I try to provide. Okay. And thank you so much, David. Julianne, I think it's Julianne. Charlie, love this, but here's my question. What happens when you're starting from scratch and you don't have 4 or 6 winners yet to create the stable and projectable control ad set within the campaign? Do you have any teaching available for that? First off, Julianne, that's exactly what the Disruptor Academy is absolutely going to be, could be very helpful for you to achieve. Second thing, to get you into those answers. Second thing, just to kind of answer your question more directly. If I don't yet have the winners, just run up your flex ads, your DCTs. Just start building in the place that you want to be, and eventually we will get there. If you don't have it yet, that's totally fine. You don't need it to get started. So hopefully that kind of gives you a little bit of confidence. Basically, the short and simple answer to your question, Julianne, is this. If you don't have the winners yet, start building them. And when you get to the place where you have the luxury problem of I've got too many winning ads and everything is working for me, and now I've scaled up and I've 2, 3, 5, 10x my volume and I have some other problems. When you get to that place, which is amazing, then we can address that problem when we get there with consolidating some of our efforts, finding the unicorns, moving them over, turning off the ads that don't work, and just continuing that process. What I will tell you is that the creation of that control ad set within your campaign is probably that's the trickiest part of the game. And that's why folks in the academy and in the MBA program, that's really a lot of what we cover for a lot of folks, because it really gets them across the finish line to the place where they need to be. So if you get into that, I would love to help you. Anyway, yeah. Oh, shoot. Okay. I got my team members building some thumbnails. When I'm done with the live, the doc has the title and just run with that. Okay, rad. Awesome. Okay, so that all being said, let's pull this Slack up. I saw this last night, and I got into replying to somebody that made a very long post. And so let's unpack this a little bit. By the way, if you're not in the limited supply Slack, what are you doing? I think it's free. So you should probably get in over there. All right. Let's share the screen. We're going to get over to the window for this one. Awesome. Here we are. Here's the limited supply Slack. Let's blow this up. Okay. So the original post here. This is from Amanda Berg. Do folks have strong preferences on meta creative testing strategies these days? For example, if I have a new batch of ads weekly, is it less disruptive to the algo to drop these in an existing testing ad set and start a new one once you've hit the 50 ad limit, or create a new one? And I love it. Andres basically was like, hey, let's maybe readjust how we're looking at things. I also did a roast inside of the limited supply community, and I will be sharing it on this channel here soon. It's over 2 hours. I went through ad account to ad account to ad account. And Andre says, started at 1 hour and 32 minutes into the end to get the answer to your question. And then Sai says, we're doing all of this, but we're including exclusions. I would not do that. I wrote back, please, as the guys spend $1 billion on ads, please don't use exclusions. I assure you, you're testing way too many ads. We're getting to all of this. Yeah. So, you know, Amanda says, awesome. Thanks for the gut check. We're the brand trying to spend upwards of $50,000 a day in a really high CAC category. And we just talked today about how trying to reduce CAC isn't really what we're trying to look for. And it says, realistically, I'd like to be able to test more like twice a month than weekly, which I love, might be better algo-wise. Absolutely. So anyway, let's get into Peter's feedback here. And I'm not picking on Peter. I don't really know Peter. I'm sure Peter's a great guy. I'm sure he's successful. He was just sharing something. And so I wanted to give a counterpoint. Here's what I see working best for most, not all brands at the moment. So first off, the premise of this response is that Facebook works differently for different brands. And that's actually a falsehood. The machine does not work differently. I gotta just turn this camera off and maybe that'll fix my issue. All right, no A cam, and then hopefully this stops glitching out over here. So first off, the machine works the same for everybody. Microsoft Excel doesn't give a damn what your business is. Grand Theft Auto doesn't care who you are. Roku doesn't, have different there are some customizations around the user, but ultimately software is designed to work the same because it is agnostic to who you are. So first off, just use 7-day click tracking. Skip all the view through stuff. It's not reliable for measurement. Anyway, first off, to get to this point, why are we not using view through? Remember, you are not trying to use attribution if you are trying to use attribution to measure results, you've completely missed the entire point. Attribution is about teaching the machine what to produce more of. If somebody converts on a view through, that's not a bad thing. Show the machine what a good buyer looks like. If somebody doesn't click on your Facebook ad, but instead converts on email or search, showing them the ad isn't a bad thing. Driving up search volume and revenue from email is a good thing. The idea that you wouldn't want to optimize for that, I've yet to have a sit-down rational conversation with somebody where they were able to explain to me why they wanted to keep the machine dumb to be able to take more credit for the results that are happening and why that was good for the business because ultimately it means less results in a dumber machine. Nobody's really been able to explain that to me, but if anybody would like to have that conversation, I would really enjoy that. Higher AOV brands need more time because people don't impulse buy 500 plus products. Sure. Timelines don't really matter at all in your ad account anyway. So sure, but it doesn't mean anything. Make sure you get your basics right first. Love it. Yes, please get your basics right first. Number one, basic. Attribution. Does it mean attribution about teaching the machine? Use broad targeting and a whole bunch of other stuff. So anyway, make sure your conversions API is set up and your purchase event scores are 829. Absolutely agree with this. If you're having any trouble with it, my number one recommendation is to use a tool called Aimers. And I have a subdomain of all of my entire MarTech stack. So you can basically go to disruptorschool.com/AIMERCE. Although this is reminding me, we should probably just have a Charlie's MarTech stack page. So you can basically just go to all the subdomains and just grab everything that I use. If you all want that, let me know in the comment section. If you guys want my MarTech stack, easily available, just know what tools am I using, and I can give you direct links to all of those tools so that you can get a discount because I don't really care about the affiliate code. Let me just give you a discount on these tools. Let me know. I will absolutely make that work. Don't worry about fancy first-party data tools until you're spending at least $500,000 monthly. Sure, I don't know that a lot of first-party data tools really matter. I've managed $500,000 a week businesses, $1 million a week businesses, 7-figure a day businesses on little more than an Excel spreadsheet. If you don't know your numbers, if you need fancy software what I will tell you is this: the more often you adopt fancy software, what ends up happening is that you find the attribution model in the way of measuring things that ultimately make sure that everybody on the team doesn't get fired, and that's a complete waste of everybody's time. 2 campaign types. That's it. Testing campaigns, ABO. Use ad set budget optimization for testing new creative and partnership content. This objectively bad idea. Why are you testing in a separate campaign? If you launch a bunch of new ads, those ads are launched at the bottom of the funnel. Every time you launch any content, paid or organic, that content is launched against the people who are most likely to respond positively to it. Those are the users who've already bought from you and the folks who are most likely to buy again. The more you launch new ads, the less you're reaching new people. The more new ads you launch, the less you're reaching new people. The more you're running ads at a small budget, the budget is spent on just the warm audiences, the hot audiences, the less you're reaching new people. Which means not only are you trying to say, well, this ad is good because I basically got it. This is a really effective ad because I showed it to somebody who already had the credit card out and their cart was full at a very small budget, in a way that also steals that data from your more effective marketing efforts. So you're producing ad fatigue to try to ramp up your ability to not reach new people so you can identify winners based off of the lowest hanging fruit, which is a terrible strategy. Also, the entire concept of this is that you test ads in a campaign, and then what works, you move over to another campaign, which basically says, when you find something that's really good at cherry picking results from other more successful ads, when you find a really effective way of not reaching new people that also undermines and creates ad fatigue on your winners, then take that winner and move it over to someplace else. So take a win and then start over. Like, none of that makes any sense. The entire concept of how this is supposed to work, the entire workflow of it, the entire process of actually understanding what's going on basically falls apart as soon as you say it out loud in sentences about what's actually happening. Lowest cost bidding, yes. Throw boosted posts in there too, sure. Scaling campaigns, ASC. There is no such thing anymore as ASC. It's all one thing. If you see people talking about, well, I'm using ASC campaigns, I'm doing this other stuff, remember that Advantage Plus is essentially, it is a state of your ad account. How much automation and AI are you using versus not? So the idea of having a scaling campaign itself is a terrible idea. Second, we don't have this is not a thing anymore. Third, using your proven winners only. If it's working in this testing campaign, why aren't you scaling where it's winning? Why aren't you taking advantage of the win you already have? Why are you saying, oh, I got to win, I'm going to now undermine it completely, move it over to someplace else and see if I can replicate that success. But instead of asking it to spend $10 a day, I'm going to ask to spend $1,000. Like, none of that makes any sense. But you see people just pushing it over and over again because, to be fair, this is what the difference between a scientific truth. So what I'm telling you is a scientific truth around the way that machine learning works, the way that data functions, and straightforward logic. Also, we have something called a political truth. A political truth is something said often enough that everybody believes it. Having a testing campaign in an ABO is a political truth. It is not a scientific truth. And that's just kind of the bottom line. Awesome. Use ROAS goal bidding. Why? ROAS isn't money. ROAS is, can I get the largest margin between whatever is able to be lucky enough to be the last touch point? Is that profit of volume? No. Is that volume of profit? No. Is that even profit? You have no idea. ROAS is revenue divided by ad spend. The problem is that revenue number is incomplete, and that ad spend isn't the reason that revenue happened. So it's an inaccurate number in a fraction with a thing that is not causational. That's terrible math. Terrible. But hey, I'm just here to help you grow. I'm not selling you services. By the way, yes, I mean, if you want me to help you grow, there's the Meta MBA program. So calling myself out, right? Like Hormozi says, so I have nothing to sell you. Here's 200 books for $6,000. Group by product categories at similar price points. Each campaign should focus on one product type. Well, why do we have so many product types? I would disagree with this. We're not concerned about the product type. We're concerned about the customer journey profile. Just like Nate said, you can try to sell your cheapest item or whatever else, but sell the thing that most often gets people to buy. What is the LTV on the 12-month that allows you to have the highest CAC? That's what matters. Focusing on running your Facebook ad account like an Amazon campaign or somebody that runs search or email, which is where this strategy comes from, is an obsolete methodology. It became obsolete in 2018. This is 7 years out of date, and it's still, as a political truth, very popular. Now, organize by different angles, your ad sets, depending on your brand. Why? I mean, I don't mind having the angles having your ad sets organized by different angles, but there is no net benefit for that in the machine. It's actually, I have a control element, and then I'm A/B testing a variable against that control element. It has nothing to do with the angles. All of this is email. This is how you run inventory and demand-based marketing. This is not how you run social media. Organized by collections. I love this. If you're running catalog ads, absolutely do this. If you're not, it's a complete waste of your time. Keep your targeting simple. Age, gender, country. Yep. What have I been saying since 2018 on this channel? Age, gender, location. That's it. Literally copying me. I love it. Like, quote me all day, man. Thank you so much. Let AC handle placements automatically. Love it. Upload both 4x5 and 9x16 creative. I don't hate this, but what I think this is implying is having both versions of that creative at the ad level. If that's what it's implying, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Some ads are 9x16. Some are best in a 4x5 or 1x1. You don't need that ad to be great everywhere. You just need it to be complementary enough to the overall mix that you can add more spend. You want the simplest solution. Simple solutions isn't, I have a very complex build on a simple architecture. That still doesn't make any sense. Use benefit-focused headlines, sure. Or offer-focused headlines. I've used headlines that are buy two, get one free. Done. Works. Don't worry about it. When to move ads from testing to scaling? Don't. This entire concept is completely, does not work for social media. When your top 10 to 20% revenue drivers or anything performs one standard deviation above the average, what he's saying is move your ads from testing to scaling when it's been proven to be good enough where it is. Find something that's effective and then completely destroy that win that you have. Makes no sense. Don't worry about overlap. Meta's smart enough to handle it. You can run them both in the same campaigns. Sure, same ad in both campaigns. Here's the thing. Campaigns don't talk to each other. Overlap absolutely happens between campaigns. And no, Meta is smart. Yes, Meta is smart enough to handle that. But when you're looking at attribution to define success, you are not taking into account the fact that overlap is happening at scale. If you have different ads within an ad set or different ad sets within a campaign, then this logic absolutely holds true. However, when you have different campaigns running, they don't talk to each other. This is the difference between somebody trying to sell services and listening to somebody like McCoy, who Nate called out, who's running Portland Leather Goods. He tweets that out at least maybe once a month, once every couple of months, because yes, the audience overlap, Meta's smart enough to handle it. The problem is you focusing on attribution-based measurement are not smart enough to appreciate the difference. So you're setting yourself up for success by leaning on a machine and misunderstanding how it works. For very expensive products, higher AOV, add this lower funnel stuff. First off, AOV has no impact on your campaign structure. No impact at all. The machine doesn't work differently because your price point is higher or lower. There's no reason to have, if you need lower funnel retargeting, use it. I'm totally fine with that. And I don't mind having your retargeting being in an ABO campaign. Sure, because you're trying to control for daily frequency. Got it. But he's basically saying for very expensive products, use broad retargeting. My point is you can use broad retargeting on everything. I think you should start on broad retargeting until you need to get to broad. For catalog ads and your best offer creative, use catalog ads, absolutely. For established brands, run a reactivation campaign. Upload your lapsed customer list if you're new and improved. Sure, but also like you don't need to because all of your ads are already reaching those people anyway. Do you want to really effectively try to win people back? Do you want to chase your ex? Or do you just want to find new people who actually care about you? If they stop buying, there's a reason. Trying to win that back is far less effective in the acquisition of new cash flow. Because somebody that stopped buying from you, winning them back is the gap between what they'll pay you today and their LTV from that point is way less than a new customer who might buy from you more than once. So yes, this makes sense, but no, it's not a valuable use of your time because the gap between the CPA on this transaction and the LTV from this sale to the end to the fully mature customer journey is a fraction of the profit volume you would make otherwise. So anyway, I kind of dropped this all here. And then, yeah, we're going to go from there. If your budget If you're lowering budget doesn't improve efficiency and subsequent profitability, then we just increase the budget to get purchase volume. I mean, I love this. Absolutely. Natalie, I'm gonna hit you in the comment section over here. Anyway, everybody, there we go. I'm gonna get rid of this. Boom. I hope you all have enjoyed this B-roll cam up live today. Anyway, that being said, you all take care. I hope you all having a good day. It's great to see you here. We've hit the 1 hour mark. Until next time, I'll see you on the internet. We've got a bunch of videos coming. Before we go, I just want to let you know, we've got videos in this next week coming on Nano Banana and how to make UGC AI content that actually converts and is like completely unhinged and like super fun. So I'm going to show you the entire suite of how to use Nano Banana with tools to create a whole bunch of stuff. I'm actually going to be pairing it with ARC ads and really just going absolutely nutty. We also have a video on me making ads for HexCloud and how to hack the top of the funnel to grow your business, especially when you're focused on efficiency because you're actually looking for incremental lift, not high ROAS or low CPA because those metrics don't matter because they're not real. We also have videos coming up. I'm going to drop a 2.5 hour long marathon of account audits that I did with the Foreplay community, which is really exciting. We're also going to be talking about a solution for scaling, how to get better ads, and really, really excited about it. And it's basically most people have been wasting most of their time trying to chase AI slop. And so I've got a video that's going to help you avoid making AI slop and another video that's going to give you a much better solution to finding good ads. So you can stop wasting your time trying to stay up to date with tools. By the time you learn them, they're already obsolete or they've been replaced or they've been updated and you're spending hours of your time trying to be good at something that doesn't matter. How do we get you back to working on the business instead of in the AI, mastering skills that are going to be completely obsolete in a matter of weeks? We're dropping that video. We also have another one of these lives on Friday. So please join us for that and share and tell your friends to show up for these things. And in the queue, we also have a great press release tool that I'm going to be dropping, how to build your market share so that you can run your ads in the broad retargeting function that we mentioned earlier. How can you make it so that your actual ads don't have to do anything other than close the deals? I'm going to show you a great tool that I'm using to essentially be your PR firm. And it's really cheap and does a bunch of stuff in minutes. And you basically just talk to the machine and it does all your press releases for you, which is incredible and super easy. And if you're running paid media, you know that you need to earn the trust. That's why your ads aren't working. So let's overcome that objection. Let's overcome that problem so your ads just have to close the deal. I've gotten to 5-6 figures in profit a month with a lot of brands where all they're doing is focusing on the people that have already engaged with their content. And you can get people to engage with your content for free. That's a hyper profitable funnel. What else? We're also going to do a video on full GPT video that we talked about with Nate. We're doing a full video on incremental attribution, the new tool from Facebook. We have a full video on the Black Friday hack that I sent to other people like Nate and McCoy and other folks. That like casually in the background drove an extra couple $100,000 in sales, something you can set up right away by basically doing something that everybody else tells you shouldn't do because, again, they don't know what they're talking about, and I'm here to help you. And what else? We have one other thing in there. Oh, yeah, broad retargeting, the whole functionality of what we've been talking about here about just hitting the warm audience. I got a video to walk you through all of that coming in too. So this next 7 days, I'm recording a ton of stuff. And I'm very, very excited to show all of that to you guys. It's going to be coming out in the next few weeks, next few months. Please join the MBA program if you want to see the most amount of success because you deserve it. If you're not ready for that yet, jump into Disruptor Academy. If you love these videos, please hit like, subscribe, comment with any questions you have, and share this video with your friends. So until next time, I'll see you on the internet.